Good morning, group. Today is, somebody help me out. Today is Thursday, November 13th, 2014, and this is our second Mastermind call of all the leads. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Does anybody, it sounds like everybody on the call has at least listened to one of the two calls that are on our website. Darlene, Michelle, this is your first time. Do you guys, after listening to those calls, do you have any specific questions that you'd like for us to cover?
I don't have any questions at the moment right now.
Okay. So, Michelle, your broker is actually doing the leads, and Darlene,
yes.
you haven't actually started the process yet, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And after listening, do you somebody else just signed on. Is that Bo Cooksey?
No, Jim, it's Tim. I just decided to listen in for a couple minutes.
Timothy, excellent. We have a guest listener. He's one of our partners at All the Leads. Welcome, Tim.
Thanks, bud.
All right. So, Darlene, no questions based on what you've heard so far?
No, but it's got my interest.
Yeah, I always kind of preface it by saying, you know, back before the internet. By the way, Tim on the call here was one of the people that invented the internet. He went to school with Al Gore. He actually did. We kind of kid him that he invented the internet. He had a web hosting company back in the 1990s. He's one of my partners. That's why all the online stuff looks so good. But back in that day when I used to sell real estate, I used to get on the phone every day. I was like clockwork. I'd call FSBOs, expireds, past clients, sphere of influence, you know, anybody who would talk to me. And I used to make 100 contacts a day. I'd set 2 or 3 appointments a day, and I'd usually get a listing almost every day. It was just very much a numbers game. But one thing that's really different about what we offer here with the probate leads, everybody I was talking to had a dozen other realtors talking to them. So there was competition. What's beautiful about the probate leads, in many cases you're going to be the only realtor calling them. In most cases you're going to be the only realtor calling them because the information is difficult to get. So you've got a data source here of highly motivated people that really need to sell their property, and in most cases you don't have any competition. Your only competition are going to be investors. Chad, from you sending out the letters, Chad is one of my partners in Roanoke, Virginia, and I always kid that there's more people that live on my street than live in his town. That's kind of one of our jokes, but he's in a very rural area, and he's probably our most successful agent using these leads. Chad, what percentage of the people you talk to have actually talked to other agents or have at least talked to an investor?
For me, it has been, I've had no agent competition. Actually, I've had no investor competition. Every listing that I've had has essentially been a come list me.
Wow.
They've called, they responded, and because we kind of present it as a full, like an end-to-end system designed around their specific problems. So, you know, we highlight the fact that we have probate-specific attorneys, we have estate sale companies, clean-out crews, contractors, and we really, you know, just flood them with value in all 3 of the letters. So usually when they call, they get it. And, like, I got 2 calls yesterday. I put it on our Facebook page. If you guys haven't liked All the Leads on Facebook, we've got a Facebook page, it's All the Leads. And I think we're going to start a private group for an All the Leads Mastermind so the people that make these calls can kind of get in there and bounce ideas around. Because last week we had some people shared some really cool things that it would be cool to have that, you know, 7 days a week instead of just on the call. But anyways, it's most of those people they understand the value, they understand their problem, and when they call, they're ready. Unfortunately, I listed 64 houses yesterday, and I've got a lady that has left 3 voicemails for me to come list her probate house in the last 12 hours, and I'm not proud of that, but I'm trying to keep up right now.
Chad,
so,
your voice cut out there because when you sent me the email, I thought it was a typo. You listed 64 houses yesterday.
Yeah. So in the meantime, one probate lead has left me 3 voicemails in 12 hours.
Now the
So
64 leads were not probate, but that was one investor that just gave you his whole inventory, correct?
Well, it was one investor and then two other. One was probate and one was just a referral.
Excellent.
But that's the level of motivation I'm finding here. And I find for about every 100 touches, like if I have a list of 100 people, I'll list 2 houses per touch to that list. And I'm using a combination of direct mail and recorded ringless voicemail.
Now, Michelle and Darlene, Chad and I were doing a coaching call for a brand new client last week, and he said, well, I don't have any investors, so I need to change the letter. And we said to him, you're a realtor, you mean to tell me you can't find somebody if you called them and said, hey, if I could get you a house for half price, they wouldn't be willing to buy it? And okay, well, in that case, yeah. If you don't have an investor, it's really easy to find. Chad, how did you find your other team members, your clean-out crew and your estate liquidation guy?
Well, I do a lot of, I do investment real estate, and I invest myself, and I do short sale facilitation. And I think a good place to start is, finding the investor. And then once you find your investor, be like, hey, do you know a guy that can, who cleans out your houses, and get the referral from the guys that are using them, because that would be my advice. There's always a guy that will clean out a house for $400, and the best way to find it is to find a guy who typically buys rental homes or flips houses. He's going to know those guys. That way you can find a reliable one. And then as far as the estate sale company goes, that's something that I think, and perception's everything, right? So the perceived value of that is way more than, it doesn't take much to set it up. So almost anyone can probably Google in your market estate sale or estate property auction company, whatever you can think of, and just call that person and say, hey, we're looking for a strategic partner. We specialize in inherited properties. Most of them are, packed to the gills with personal property. The families are oftentimes out of town. If in the event that we have, anything of value, would you be interested in partnering with us to be the liquidation partner for that, to set up the auction? And typically those companies are going to take a 10% commission. So if they sell $10,000 worth of antiques out of the house, the family gets $9,000 and they take $1,000. And in my market, at least, they will come, they will do all the marketing, they'll put up the directional signs, they put up video cameras, partition off the house so there's only one point of sale so people can't steal things. And they do all that stuff, so you don't have to do anything. So from the homeowner's perspective, that's huge. But you have a partner in the program that you have no overhead. So offering something like that where you can, say, well, this guy will sell everything that's valuable, and then my guy will come behind him and either donate or trash out everything else. And we even go as far as, pulling up carpets and putting in new carpets, repainting, things like that sometimes. But just having a complete system where you can really offer a lot of value to them up front will really differentiate you. And it's, oftentimes you don't have competition, so but when you do have competition, you won't really have any competition. I guarantee not many other people are going to have a system like that.
Excellent. Any questions, guys? No?
Yeah, how did you get 64 listings in one sitting?
I'm at my desk about 18 hours a day. I have bought and sold houses and worked with landlords for the last probably 18 months, and I have somehow become known as like the landlord realtor. So when someone needs to blow something out, they put it on my desk. So
somebody just called you. Somebody called you because of your reputation and said, I don't want to be a landlord anymore. I want to sell all my properties, right?
Yeah, it was a $2.5 million come list me. So
nice.
Yeah. Okay. What neck of the woods are you in?
I'm in Roanoke, Virginia, Southwest Virginia.
Okay, well that's not too small a town.
No, we've got that's our whole MSA is around 300.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know the area. Mm.
So what we see here, like in my market, I see about 147 probates a month, and the entire MSA. And well, I'd say on average it's closer to 120 on an average. Like last month was 147. But if I pull the trigger, if I spend $300 on mail, I could usually list 2 houses, which is a pretty solid return. We had a guy on last week's call that I think we figured it up. He spent $1,500 and had $30,000 in gross commission on, I think, 5 deals. So, I mean, it's the return compared to other forms of marketing. It's a phenomenal system for me because you can spend $2,000 on internet leads and maybe get 1 appointment. Where here you can spend $300 and get 2 come listings. So it's been a really, it's a pillar in my business now, and it doesn't take a whole lot to maintain if you just and I shared my system the way I set it up. I have a 90-day campaign it's 27 touches over 90 days. And unfortunately, I don't always get all 27 touches in, but it's a combination of direct mail, email, live phone calls, and ringless voicemail. I would say on average I'm realistically getting in 7 or 8 touches per list, and I'm still having that much success. We had a member last week that was on. He was door knocking in the Bay Area. He would get his list of only 20 because California has a lot. They have a lot of estate planning. So even though he's in a zip code with 2 million people, he only gets 20 probate leads. But he took massive action. He wrote a letter, put a handwritten Post-it note on it, and drove to the house. And he knocks on the door. If they're home, he has a direct conversation. If they're not, he leaves a letter, and guess what? He gets a lot of phone calls.
That's me. I'm the one that does that.
Oh, that's you. So, yeah. So you lit a fire in me. I'm like, damn, I'm lazy.
Well, I try to do that in my circle. I mean, kind of a sphere because, that's time-consuming and whatnot. But probably within a 10-mile radius of my house, I'll do that. I can't hit them all because my county, of course, it's large. I mean, we've probably got 2-3 million people in my county alone, and it's pretty spread out. But it's an added touch. It helps, and I try to stick a handwritten additional note in there. Back to what you're doing. Have you posted on the website some of your marketing materials that you use and your 27 touches?
I sent everything to Jim this morning. I apologize. I thought it was up there. But Jim, I put that in your inbox right before the call. So you've got my campaign outline. It's just pretty simple. It's just in Microsoft Word, but it also has scripts. So if any of you guys are using ISAs or if there's somebody else making the phone calls, I have an outbound call script that I wrote for my girl. The inbound call script is going to be a lot different. You'll learn that, and usually the first 10 seconds of an inbound call is the most important with probate, because a lot of times they are a little bit confused about why you emailed them letters about buying the house. They're still emotionally connected to it. And that's why I really, really stress getting your team in place and get your USP, your unique selling proposition, get that dialed in. So why do you do probate? We do probate because we're tired of it. I do probate because I'm tired of seeing homes in dated condition, overpriced, expiring on MLS, and families selling them for 50 cents on the dollar. And I've bought a lot of those houses. But I can take that same house and sell it for 70% of market value in 30 days or less. And when you say that to somebody, they're like, oh, well, okay. And so you've got people that can help us sell mom stuff. And I'm like, yeah, we've got companies. We can do this, da-da-da-da. And the conversation gets really easy from there. So just really get your get your why dialed in and get that team behind you of those people. And honestly, you don't have to use them on every deal. I would say you'll probably use an estate sale company 1 in 25, and you'll use a clean out guy 1 in 10. But the perceived value, that's huge when they don't really understand what you're doing because it's so different than anything they've ever seen.
Excellent. Great job. We had said, guys, this is a little bit of a recap of what we covered last week. We had also talked last week, and we said we'd spend more time on it on this call on going after the attorneys. And for those of you that weren't on last week's conversation, it's great, and if you're going to pay for these leads, you absolutely need to contact every single one of these heirs. However, and in addition, not however, but in addition to that, on your list, every single probate has the name, address, and phone number of a probate attorney. And in us analyzing massive amounts of data, we have found that probably a third to a half of the deals are being done by 4 or 5 probate attorneys. So if you got 100 of them in your market, you probably got 4 or 5 attorneys that are doing, a half a dozen a month. And those are the attorneys you should be calling. And Ken, was that you that was going after the attorneys, or was it someone else on our last call?
Well, I brought up the issue, and I'm starting to, but it's hard to get through the door because to me, they're the initial gateway, and when the people file probate in my area, and those are the people who haven't done a trust, and I live in a very upscale area where a lot of people do file trusts. So the ones who don't, they're going to an attorney because they generally don't know how to do it themselves, and so they're kind of the gateway. So that's kind of part of my longer range marketing thoughts.
Right.
You got to get to them, the gateway. I mean, it's like who's controlling the process, and usually the attorneys do. And if they hand out your card to a client, say, "Here, use this guy," it's powerful.
And
so that's
just
sort of my thinking. I mean, I've been in the business 30 years. Referrals are always the best.
Right.
I mean, and maybe you got to give the attorney a referral fee, and that's what I'm kind of trying to put together, some sort of marketing plan.
And just to clarify for you that weren't on last week's call, you don't need to get to the attorney to do this particular probate deal. But the goal of getting to the attorney is for all the referrals they can give you in the future on ones before they even get published.
Well, and not only that, just other, because a lot of attorneys do other things besides probates,
Sure.
Divorces and whatnot. But yeah, it's increasing the hit rate. Like you said, you might get 1 or 2 listings per 100. In my area, I'm only getting probably 35 to 45 leads off the service every month. So I've got to do better than that if I want to get a couple more listings a month, which is my goal out of this process. But I do the letter too. But like I said, yeah, I'd like to, if anybody's doing anything with attorneys, how they're approaching them, marketing, whatnot. Like I said, if we can post our stuff, share all this stuff online. I love the calls because they're invigorating and, it gives me good ideas. But that's what I see. I mean, I look at gateways. How do you get to a yes? How do you get to the right person? Because in my area, I do have competition. Okay, I went on 2 listing appointments, and there's at least 2 other realtors that they're talking to. But again, I'm in a very dense urban area. So people have been marketing at this. They don't get their leads like I do. They're getting it in other ways, but I'm still competing.
Excellent. Group, the 5 or 6 that are on, any questions, thoughts, comments, anything specific that we can help any of you with?
I have a question about what is the difference between the date of death and the filing of the probate?
The date of death and the filing of the probate. You mean in the data?
In general, what is the difference in life, or in it actually happening from someone to pass away and then file a probate? What's the timeline?
Chad, do you have a handle on that from what you've seen?
I do. I mean, if you look at the date of death, it's pretty self-explanatory. That's the date of death certificate, the date that the doctor proclaimed that they were not living. The date of the probate filing, it varies. What we find is it varies not only like within your city, but also within regions. So I know in my market, the median number of days from the time somebody passes away until the family member goes to the probate clerk is 68 days. Some places, you know, in like New England, you're going to see that happen quicker, and you know, some places people are more sentimental, take longer to grieve. I would say in very dense urban areas where most people have family out of state and, you know, people are spread out, you're probably going to see shorter periods of that. But what that probate filing date is essentially when the family says, okay, we've got all this debt, the estate has this debt, and we've got this property, and we've got X number of heirs. We got to get down to the courthouse and take care of this. Like, we got to start moving. So that's the initial. That's when the thought process of, oh crap, we got to sell this house. That's when they started that.
Okay.
And it varies, and you know, it's my advice is start marketing day one when you get your list, because there's going to be maybe 10% of people on there that are very motivated, that have reverse mortgages or high debt levels, or, you know, or just kids that just want that cash. Those will be the ones that respond to your investor message. The ones that take longer to grieve, they have great relationships with their parents, they're very emotionally attached to the home, but they still need to sell it. Those are the people I find that call me 60, 90 days down the line. So the three that I got yesterday were from letter 2 on my August list. So they would have gotten that letter in September, and they just responded to that second letter. Now they've gotten 3 letters from me, but they responded to number 2 for whatever reason at that point in the grieving process. So everyone's going to be different, and it's just like any lead generation, any listing strategy. It's over time you'll see more and more results. So I would say your ramped up period, you're going to list houses in the first 30 days, guaranteed. Well, I'm not guaranteed, but I did. In 90 days, it's going to get easier. In the next 90 days, it's going to be easier, because you're going to have all that mail and all these lists starting to overlap. And it's also very important that you systemize it, because once you get even just the direct mail, 3 touches, you know, you're doing over 90 days. And what I do is I set up all 3 touches at once, so I never have to touch that again. So it goes to my mail house, and I know that every 30 days that list gets a letter. And 30 days later, I get a new list, and they get a letter every 30 days. So about 3 months in, you're gonna have tons of letters out there, and you can use different tracking numbers. I don't know how deep we want to go into that, but you can use CallFire as a really cheap one for $3. You can buy a tracking number and use that one specific number on each letter. So like letter 1 can have a phone number, letter 2 can have a phone number, and letter 3 can have a phone number. And over time, you'll start to see what the pattern is in your market. So people respond to letter 1 about 60 days after the letter, or 90 days after the death. It's probably going to be different in every region of the country, but you can use tracking numbers to kind of get it down to the science in your market.
You said you send this out to a mail house. Is that an external company, or is it just something inside of your office that you do?
Right now, we've got a third-party partner that handles the mailing for us. We can handle that for you guys if you'd like. And what we send is like a pastel greeting card envelope. I usually use blue or yellow. It's a greeting card envelope with a hand address font and a return address with no name and a live first-class stamp. So it looks like someone sent a birthday card.
Could we get you to send that out to us or post it, and then also the cost and who they are? Because that's what I'm trying to figure. I only have so many hours in the day. I'm a single guy. I operate out of my house, and it's the follow-up, and creating the systems like you've done.
Yep, and that's what I found as a challenge. Like in month 3, when you've got 3 lists and 9 letters floating around, it can be a bear. And then when you start adding in the phone calls and all that, the email component's pretty easy. So yeah, we're getting to a point where we can automate mailing for you. So when you get a list, you can say, hey guys, when my list comes, just go ahead and fire these 3 letters. And what we'll need from you is to download those 3 letter templates, put in your logo and your brokerage information. I always put in mine, you'll see on the template, I have a testimonial from one of the first probate deals I ever did. A lady actually fired her realtor after talking to me and we did the estate sale, the clean out, about a $15,000 rehab on the property, and we had multiple offers on day one. We sold it, and she netted about 20% more than it was listed for with the last agent. And that's really uncommon in my market. So just think of your best success story with this type of a home, even if it was just helping somebody who was in a nursing home or something like that. Just think of the condition. Typically in my market, because we have much older homes and an older community, typically here it's going to be a 1960s or 70s home, pretty much in original condition. So that's kind of the testimonial that I used in the letter, was it fit that house. So it resonates with the person reading it. But you're going to plug in your, and we'll have a web form where you can, I think Tim is working on that. I'm not sure if it's done. The goal is to, in the next few days, to have a web form where you can upload your company logo, your company name, your brokerage address for legal purposes, and then whatever your testimonial will be. And we'll do the merge. We'll do the mail merge for you. The mail goes out, and we can reach the West Coast in about 3 business days.
Okay. What's the name of the company that you use?
It's just a small print shop here in ROANOKE, Virginia.
Oh, okay. And they do everything, including the mailing?
They do. And, we chose them. I can drive over there and make sure it happens. Like, they're within 2 miles of my house. And so we've partnered with them, and they're doing awesome. I mean, they get mail out the door within 24 hours. They hand deliver it to the post office with live stamps on it. So.
And
yeah,
Chad, just
go
ballpark
ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you mail to the attorneys or just to the personal representative?
Well, in Virginia, we only have executors, so it's not common. It happens once in a blue moon, but most families deal directly with the probate clerk and the courthouse. We're a commonwealth, so things are done a little differently.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's what I said last week on the call. I wish I had a list of attorneys, because I agree. Like, I think you could probably double my results if you do a good job of networking yourself with those key attorneys, and just just be relentless. Find a way to provide value to them. Their biggest problem is they've got they're as busy as everyone else. So the quicker they can sell the house and close that file, the quicker they get their $1,500. So. Right. I think the message to most attorneys, the message that they're going to respond to is, I've got a kick-ass home selling system and I can get it done quickly. And, we have a lot of experience with this type of property. So show them that you have a system that will get a dated home sold quickly, and they'll show you some referrals, I think.
Right. Okay, yeah. Definitely want to see who you use. Yeah. What's your mailing cost per piece? Any idea?
We're working on that, so it varies based on volume, obviously. And we're working on a pricing. I think we should have a web tool where you can log in and see your prices and place your order. And then if you want, we can just automate that. So the day your list comes out, we'll just set up the 3-touch campaign and have it spaced whatever you want the spacing to be. I space 30 days and I send 3 letters.
Yeah, I like that idea. Can you just export from the list that you get from all the leads to the company?
Yeah, so our templates are set up. The letter templates are in Microsoft Word, and we get the leads are in a CSV file. So we just do a mail merge, and it pops in the county name, the executor or personal representative's first name, and then it merges, we'll merge your logo and your address and everything. And then what we'll do, we'll just keep your templates on file. So month to month, all we do is just, we can send your CSV file and it'll merge and the mail will go on the dates that you set.
And it's surprisingly affordable. Chad's reluctant because I don't think we have a firm price worked out yet, but by the time you factor in the cost of the stamp and the envelope and the printing and the labor, it's really not that much more expensive just to have somebody do it for you. It's not too much more than than what you're paying for postage. Your cost.
It's probably going to be around less than $1.25 a piece, worst case scenario. So if you do 2 letters, it's probably going to be something like $1.25. The more you do, the lower the cost goes.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of national mail houses, if you get below 500 pieces, they're at like $3-4 a letter, and we're not playing that game. We negotiated good rates with our mail house, and we're passing that straight through to you guys. So there will be there's pricing thresholds, and I don't know what those are right now. So, but we are building a tool, so you'll be able to see that.
Yeah. That's. I mean, honestly, the thing is, it gets done. That's a good price, number one, but number two, it gets done.
Yeah. I can't do it in house. So even though like I have an assistant that was doing my mail, and once I met with her and said, here's what we're trying to do, I mean, I can't compete with her. So it costs me more to do my mail in-house than it does to just send it, and it takes me twice as long. So, because she's got, the printers that are set up to stuff and seal, and they hand stamp, and then they drive it over to the post office, so it goes straight on the truck.
Yeah, well.
Guys, we will try to have that tool ready for you by next Thursday's call. I think we should be able to. So that'll be on our checklist to get that done by next week. It's something we've been working on for a long time because, I mean, our whole goal here, we don't want to just give you leads. We want to make it hard for you not to make money with them because there's just too much stuff out there that people sign up for and cancel. We really don't. We want you guys to be profitable with this and to get results with it. And the easier we make it for you, the better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even in my area with the competition, these are definite sellers of real estate. And what I've transitioned into, not just this but others, I'm looking for what we call life event sellers. Okay, right. Whether it's a divorce, a death, which is the probate, there's a major life event, which is generally what drives most sales. Okay.
And by the way, we now, and thank you for mentioning that, Ken, we do have access now to divorce data. We haven't been pushing it because we want to get a real good base and we want to get you guys good at probate. We can get, on average, we can get about twice the number of leads in divorce as what you're paying for the same cost that you're paying for the probate leads.
Yeah. Okay.
So something in the future, we're kind of recommending to everybody, get it systematized, get good with the probate, and have that for a goal down the road to add the divorce element.
Yeah, I'd like to find out how many leads there are for Contra Costa County. If you could get back to me even via email.
You got it. Contra Costa, you got it. All right, guys.
California. Thanks.
Thank you. We try to keep these calls at about 30 minutes, and we're running 35. So thank you, Michelle and Darlene, for showing up today. Thank you, Ken, for coming back and contributing as always. We're gonna chat in the next few days. You're gonna get up the All the Leads Facebook page exists, so go there and join. And you're gonna have some type of a restricted membership for the people that are on these calls, correct?
Yeah, we'll start a All the Leads Mastermind group just so someone will always have a place to share ideas and we can document them 24/7. So when you have a stroke of brilliance, log in and share. I think we all get a lot from these calls.
Awesome, guys.
This was a good call today. Thanks for coming.
Thank you all for showing up, and same time next week. Have a great week, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
All right.